How's it going, guys and girls? Hope you guys are having a great week. So I'm back today with a new video to talk about the Expanse Osiris Reborn. So we got a reveal trailer a couple of days ago at the Future Games Showcase, and this game looks absolutely incredible. It's the newest game from Owlcat Games. They're actually a known CRPG developer, and they've worked on quite well-known games like Pathfinder, Kingmaker, and Wrath of the Righteous, and more recently Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. They're a studio that is known for excellent storytelling, narrative driven storytelling, and choice and consequence, and very much so the Expanse Osiris Reborn is setting up to be that. This game could very much be the spiritual successor to Mass Effect. It could be the next biggest sci-fi RPG coming out, and I'm extremely excited about it. I've been researching it for the last couple of days, and this is pretty much everything that we know about the game so far. Now, in some ways, it very much does look a little like Mass Effect in terms of its gameplay, its combat, and its RPG features, which we'll get to as we sort of progress through the video. And Owlcat Games have confirmed that, you know, very much Mass Effect is a inspiration for them when they made this game. This is their very first venture into third-person action RPG. And also, it is going to be their first game to utilize the power of the Unreal Engine 5. So this is a new venture for them in a lot of ways. But what we saw in the trailer looks excellent, and it's based on The Expanse. Now, this is a series which I absolutely love. There is a TV series, I think it's about 6 seasons long, on Amazon Prime, and also a series of books as well. The Expanse is not Mass Effect. I'm going to say that right here. So yes, there may be elements of Mass Effect, but The Expanse is not that. Mass Effect is more your space opera in terms of, you know, using sort of alien technology, and it's a little bit more out there, more futuristic, should we say, in terms of its representation of sci-fi. Whereas The Expanse, it's a lot more gritty. It's a lot more realistic. For those who don't know what The Expanse is, it is a series that is set in our own solar system, and space travel is still very much fairly early on. And it's quite dangerous. You know, there's a lot of realism within it. There aren't really aliens per se. There is this kind of alien kind of substance called the proto-molecule, which we're going to explore obviously within this game and within the series, but there aren't aliens per se like there are in Mass Effect, where you're traveling to alien worlds, meeting different alien races. That is not what this is. The Expanse is a lot more about sort of political intrigue. So humanity have expanded into the solar system. You have Earth and their lunar base. You have Martians, so they've colonized Mars. And then you also have Belters, which inhabit much of the kind of asteroid belts of the solar system and sort of space stations and that kind of thing. And there is always this kind of like balance between the three. At any point, you know, the Martians and Earth and Belters are really very much on the brink of war, and it's a very tense kind of regional politics and shifting alliances and things like that. And The Expanse is fantastic. If you haven't watched the TV series and you're a sci-fi fan, I want to be really surprised, but 2, I highly recommend it. It's a fabulous series, and it starts off a little slow, sort of setting things up, but once it gets going, it really gets going. And I'm very excited to see a proper sci-fi RPG set in the world of The Expanse, in the universe of The Expanse, and it just has me extremely excited. Now, apparently, according to the developers, the game is going to be set during the first 2.5 seasons of the TV series and the first 3 books in the series as well. So it is covering some of the known events that happen You're existing in sort of an existing narrative. So world events, global events will take place as they do in the TV series, but you are your own cast, your own character, and you have your own sort of personal story that takes place during those events. And in the background, characters will react to those events going on. You'll see it in the news feeds and things like that, but you are very much your own character. And this is a choice and consequence based game, so you can make your own choices, and those will have consequences, and those will affect the story and the way that your own story goes. So you basically start off, you are a pink water security mercenary, and you're basically captaining your own crew and your own frigate. You begin the game on the asteroid Eros, and anybody who knows the TV series, something pretty terrible happens on board that asteroid, and you have to effectively escape. You have to get off that asteroid, and then the game carries on and progresses from there. You control your own captain, so very much like Commander Shepard, it is a fully customizable character. You can choose to play as male or female, and also you can pick from 3 backgrounds, so you can choose to be an Earther, a Martian, or a Belter. As well as creating your own captain, apparently you also will create your own twin. So apparently you have a twin. This is an identical twin. So if you play a female character, your twin will also be female. So it's not a Sarah Scott, kind of rider situation like it was in Mass Effect Andromeda. It's not that. This is an identical twin, and apparently they will be your first companion and your most loyal companion as well. So it doesn't sound like they're going to do the whole Assassin's Creed Odyssey thing that they did, where your twin or your sibling was on an opposite side of you, and it created that kind of fake drama, so to speak. So we're not going to have that. It looks and sounds like they're going to be on your ship, and they're going to be a companion, which is kind of cool. So I'm looking forward to that. You will have companions that you can pick up throughout the story, and those will be from Earth, from Mars, and also a Belter as well. So you will have very different companions, each with their own kind of backstory, their own kind of history, their own kind of motivations. And similar to Mass Effect, on board your ship, which is called the Gemini, you will get to know your crew. You will talk and interact with your crew, and they will react to certain decisions that you make, because obviously they'll have certain political views, certain loyalties and alliances, and therefore if you choose to side with a particular faction over another faction, they're going to have things to say about that. So I'm very much looking forward to that. That for me definitely sounds very Mass Effect, in terms of you're the captain and you have your own crew, and you will, each of them are from a different background, similar to the different races in Mass Effect. They have confirmed that there will be romance within the game, so you can romance characters and companions, but they haven't gone into specifics or details as to how that romance is actually going to work, and whether or not there will be limitations, to certain romances or anything like that. They haven't gone into any details about it, other than just to confirm there absolutely will 100% be romance within the game. The gameplay is very much similar to Mass Effect in that it is a third-person action cover shooter. There will not be a set kind of class system like there was in Mass Effect, so it's much more of a flexible class system in the case of you choose where to spend points or skill points, and you can choose what side of the tree to go down, or which abilities to unlock, and equipment and tactics and weapons and things like that to equip. So you can very much adapt the character to suit your own play style. So it's not like Mass Effect where you choose to be an adept or a soldier or an engineer. It very much isn't like that, but there are going to be set kind of archetypes of gameplay, and we did see that within the trailer. So we actually did get to see what looked like an engineer archetype for one of your companions, where I think he had like a drone and a turret on his armor and his shoulder, and then also a shield as well. So very much there will be those sorts of abilities and the ability to kind of to do that, which is awesome. I really do like the idea of it being a more flexible skill tree and not sort of locking yourself into one particular play style. So it sounds a little bit more like Mass Effect Andromeda in that way, in that you can maybe respec and switch between different play styles. And I kind of prefer that, because I think sometimes at the beginning of a game, you don't really know what you want to play as. You know, it's still very new, and you might start out as a particular class and then actually not really enjoy it and have to restart that game completely. So I like this whole fluid class system, you know, in terms of you can evolve and change as you go along. I think that's a really, really, really good idea, and I'm a big fan of it. It is a cover-based shooter. Apparently, the enemies will push on your position, and the cover as well as the environment, there are destructible environments, destructible covers. So even though it is a cover-based system, it's not like, you know, Gears of War, where you're going to be like hunkering down for absolutely ages. You're going to have to move. You're going to have to sort of reassess the situation. And it is very much this kind of like real-time combat. So very similar as well. You can take 2 companions into combat with you, but also your other companions will still be there, but further back, and they can support with like hacking certain terminals for you, or taking enemy aggro basically and attention. But there are 2 companions that you can take with you, and apparently you are going to be able to give them kind of orders and instructions, so you'll be able to tell them to attack certain enemies or use certain abilities or do certain actions. So yeah, very Mass Effect in that way. The whole RPG and combat side of it seems incredibly Mass Effect, but this is not Mass Effect, guys, just to be very clear to you. It is the Expanse. It's a very, very different kind of universe. It's a very gritty, realistic, you know, sci-fi universe, and I'm really looking forward to it. One thing that disappointed me a little bit is that it has been confirmed there isn't going to be any space combat in the game, so you will have your own ship which you can pilot, called the Gemini. You can apparently upgrade it as well. There will be options to upgrade it, I think, but you can't actually fly it around, and you can't actually take part in aerial sort of space combat. These will happen. There will be space combat within the game, because that's a really cool part of the Expanse in terms of how the ships work and how the combat works, but it's going to be more cinematic than anything else. But apparently what can happen in certain cinematics can change depending on if you upgraded certain things or if you made certain choices. So I don't know if it's going to be a bit like, say, what like the suicide mission was, you know, where if you hadn't upgraded certain things, certain damage would happen to the ship and that would have consequences. I don't know if it's going to work a similar way to that. They've not really confirmed any details other than to say that there is no ship combat, which, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I mean, it has me a little disappointed. For fans of The Expanse, you will also be happy to hear that we are going to be visiting familiar locations, which has me extremely excited, because I've watched the whole TV series and absolutely love it and can't wait to visit these locations. But yeah, we're going to get to go to the Gardens of Ganymede. We're going to get to go to Ceres Station. We're going to get to go to sort of different belter complexes and bunkers in the asteroid belt. Apparently we're even going to get to go to Mars possibly, and also Luna. So these well-known iconic locations from the Expanse series, we're going to get to go visit them, which is really exciting. And apparently it has been confirmed that some of the original cast are reprising their roles. So there are going to be cameos. So we are going to get to see and hopefully interact with, you know, familiar characters from the TV series. And for fans of The Expanse, to the thought of that cast being able to reprise their roles is really exciting. It's a really exciting one. So I'm very much looking forward to which characters, you know, are going to come back, and I can't wait to find out which characters are going to make an appearance. Although I kind of want to be surprised. I might try and avoid that information, and then when I play the game, it really is just a surprise for me, which I'm hoping, you know, will be the case. Now, we have no set confirmed release date. All we know that is this game has been in production for quite a while. Apparently, they've been working on this game for about 4 years, and it went into pre-production in 2022, which sort of makes sense because I think it was 2022 when the TV series finished, I think. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, it's been in development for about 4 years. Now, another thing that the developers have confirmed, which really doesn't sit well with me, is that there will be no physical release of this game. So this game is going to be available on Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5 and PC, but it has been confirmed that there will be no physical copy of this game. It will be a digital only release. So I don't know if that's going to influence your decision to buy the game or not, but there will be a collector's edition of the game, which will come with like a statue of your ship, the Gemini. But the game, I'm guessing, will be a digital code. So I'm all for game preservation. So I hope that they change their tune on this. I hope that eventually we do get a physical release of this game, because I would like to physically own it, to add it to my library. But I suppose if it's only digital, then I'm probably going to get it on PC if that is the case, just because that's the cheapest way for me probably to buy the game. So that's pretty much everything that we know so far about the Expanse Osiris Reborn. I am so excited for this game. Words can't express how excited I am. I love my sci-fi RPGs, and I really think in the last couple of years we haven't got enough. We haven't got enough good sci-fi RPGs. Sci-fi horror seems to be the rage, the whole thing at the moment, but we haven't gotten decent sort of sci-fi RPGs. The RPG community and the industry has very much been more pushing towards fantasy, with Baldur's Gate 3 and everything. So I'm happy to see that we've got a really cool sci-fi RPG coming in the future, and I think this is going to really tap into the Mass Effect community. I think there is definitely a need there within the Mass Effect community that have been salivating and waiting for a good sci-fi RPG, and I think that this game could 100% tap into that part of the community. And I think a lot of Mass Effect fans likely will jump on board for this game and will be incredibly excited and interested in this game, just because they're looking for that next fix, so to speak. And I really do think the Expanse Osiris Reborn is shaping up to possibly, hopefully meet those needs. But it looks great, and I can't wait to find out more about it in the future. But yeah, that's everything that we know about it so far. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you looking forward to this game? Is there anything that you're excited for? Anything that you're wondering? Please do share those in the comment section below. Hope you guys, of course, are having a great week. Take care. And as always, happy gaming. I should go.